Oftentimes in August, we think that the garden is done. The garden seems to be giving us signs and symptoms of it being finished, and we believe it. But the reality here is that we have several weeks, if not a month or two still left of valuable gardening season. So today's video, we're going to go over how to not give up on your garden and actually keep it going later into the fall. And no, it's not just start your fall crops. That's not what the video is going to be, I promise. Number one, hands down, is actually not removing plants that are spent and done and then utilizing that space for something with a quick turnaround. Lettuce, for example, is very quick to turn around. Spinach, kale, all these things can be frozen, preserved in some way, or kept long term. I actually highly encourage you to actually Google how to keep lettuce alive for longer. You wrap it in some tinfoil. My grandma used to do it all the time, and lettuce lasts for literal weeks in the fridge. It's really shocking. This bed is where kohlrabi used to stand, and now it is freshly planted with a whole bunch of different fall type crops along with lettuce. Number two is going to be not fertilizing your plants any longer. I'm not going to say a whole lot on this topic because I have a video that either just came out or is coming out very soon. So if you want to see that, hit the subscribe button. But in that, I actually go into the detail as to what plants should still be fertilized. First, which ones you really do not want to fertilize because you will kill them, along with what type of fertilizer to use. For example, the whole phosphorus is best for growing roots, and roots grow long into the fall, kind of all of that. We break it all down in that video if you want to go check it out. But for this video, I will say fertilizing should not stop in some cases for plants that are actively growing. Next one is actually making decisions based on your first frost date. So what you want to do is Google first frost date in Saskatoon, and it's going to give you a date. Mine is mid-September. From there, you want to count back. That gives you an idea of how many weeks you have left typically in a season to grow. You can find plants that fit into this for days to harvest. You could also utilize this to determine if you need to top your tomatoes, which I did a whole video on this. I also go into when to remove the flowers, etc. and so forth. So that's a great video to check out as to whether or not you should be shutting some of these plants down or curbing their growth habits based on that last frost date. So think of that as a way to determine what your next actions in your garden are going to be. Next, really common misconception is that if a plant is diseased, you should rip it out entirely. So powdery mildew, for example, is going to start taking off in some of your gardens. But if there's still enough valuable leaf material there to allow for photosynthesis, the support of flowers, the support of fruits, then you don't want to just simply pull that plant out. You actually want to leave it in place. Of course, you want to prune for airflow. Watch my video on how to use potassium bicarbonate, sulfur, and milk to actually get rid of the powdery mildew or help control it in some way. But outside of that, if you have less than 30% of the plant damaged by insects or disease, leave it in place. Let it continue to do its job because it's going to reward you. I literally just had a pumpkin show up here last week, and it's already that big, and it started out that big the week before. If I would have topped or changed or altered this plant in any way, I would have one less pumpkin on the plant behind me. The next issue is actually watering. So we typically continue to water the same way we were watering in, say, July. Now, the problem with that is that in July, our plants are actively growing, putting on a ton of new biomass flowers, and you get the idea. At the same pace, we end up with splitting of our tomatoes, maybe drowning of the roots. And that is despite the fact that it is hot outside. August can tend to be really warm. But the reason for that is growth has slowed down due to cooler nights and shorter days. And what that means for you is actually maybe testing with a finger or whatever to check the moisture within your soil and then pivoting as you find it to be necessary. The next problem with our garden tends to be the next thing that you want to take advantage of here in August is if you want to plant a fall garden and your plant is spent, you don't want to just simply let it stay there and turn brown. You want to remove it and then use those greens in your compost because greens are not the easiest thing to find. So just because you think your garden is done does not mean it is done. What I want you to do is to look at plants that will be able to fully mature before your first frost date. I want you to look at plants that are actively still growing and then nurture them the way that they need to be nurtured. I don't want you to get scared of disease if the plant otherwise seems completely healthy, and you guys get the idea. This video here is what you should be doing in August with your garden, and that is what Google says you should watch next. I will talk to you guys next time.